It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Habish and Rotier. Partly cloudy conditions this morning, but should be a sunny, nice day later with a high of 60 degrees. It's currently 41 degrees here in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to go along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here about to play.
Backing away, deep left center. Back is Perkins. And he caught it. He took a home run away from Jahmai Jones. Didn't even need to leap. And Terang floats one into shallow left for a base hit. A run scores. Perkins to third. Terang delivers again. He's got 3 runs batted in on the night. Rengifo, shallow right. Vierling can't get there. It falls. Mitchell scores. And for all the Rockets, Luis Rengifo gets one to fall finally. And a shot to left. Another hit for William. 10-1 Brewers. Line down the left field line. That's headed towards the corner. At least one will score. Terang is in. They'll hold Contreras. It's an RBI double for Bowers to right. Matos makes the catch. And the Brewers can book it. A 12-4 win over Detroit. They take the opener in the series. Big 7-run 8th inning today.
So off days are good.
Yeah, apparently they help. Save some of those runs. We need them today, too.
And tomorrow. And there's 12-4 is good, though. And everybody had an RBI but David Hamilton. The audio courtesy there of Brewers TV. What's up, Wisconsin? Happy Wednesday. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas and Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And we're doing a little happy dance today. That's a good Brewers game. That's a good way to start the 3-game set in Detroit, continue the road trip. I thought they were going to go home in between. They did not. They just kept it going, and apparently they know what they're doing because it worked.
Sure did.
All right, let's play catch-up.
Packers.
So Goody talked yesterday, and he talked a lot.
He did.
Like almost a half an hour straight. Answered pretty much any question, and I don't know if you saw it, Josh, but would have kept going at the end. There was no, all right, guys, any more questions? Whoever's in the background there, whether it's Jason Waller or Tom Fanning with the Packers PR/media department, we're like, all right, guys, have a good one. And Goody looked back and he goes, oh, we're done? Like, oh, okay. He could have kept going. And I feel like it would have been easy for us to say, of course, the first press conference in the new media center at the Packers was the Packers GM, and he didn't tell us anything. No, actually, he actually told us a lot. We're going to share with you a whole bunch of the audio from the press conference coming up in the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump at the top of the hour. But to just kind of summarize what he said yesterday in the presser, we go to our friend Mike Spofford, who put out 5 things on Packers.com, and here is what he wrote. Number 1, the Packers will be watching the first round very closely. Goody said that right in the beginning of the presser. Our process stays the same. And whatever happens on Thursday will absolutely affect Friday and Saturday. So, Josh, it's more like they're going to mock draft their own mock draft.
Yeah.
And see what happens on Thursday and take it all into account.
Yeah, it doesn't mean necessarily that they're moving up. This isn't Goody going out and saying, no, our plan is to be aggressive and try to move into the first round. I think it's more based on they're watching the battle that takes place and seeing what chips fall and who takes what and what that's going to mean for them when they do pick on Friday.
Well, ironically, Goody went on to say, number 2 from Spoff, that he's not ruling out a trade up in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also not ruling out any trade backs because they only have 8 picks and he wants more. He's got a bunch for next year, 11 plus right now, not knowing where the compensatory picks land. But he's willing to use those to get more this year. And whether that's up or down, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Number 3, Spoff says it's all about a given the Packers will draft at least one cornerback or more. I thought this was interesting. In the presser, he came out and talked about offensive line depth. And we talked about this yesterday. Goody said 2 key things, whether he meant to say it or not. Number 1, he loves the starting 5. Well, that would tell you that the starting 5 that we assumed would be the starting 5 appears to be the starting 5. But number 2, he listed a whole bunch of names that he's excited to have, whether it's back from injury or just on the team in terms of offensive line depth, that would lead you to believe, and he said it himself, that he's actually really happy with the offensive line of the Green Bay Packers right now, not only the starters, but the depth, and that they may or may not need to add to that room completely based on how he feels. That was not the case for the cornerback position. He all but said in specifics that was the room that needs the most numbers.
So I just got to ask, like, when you hear Goody say, I love all those guys, I'm happy with that. Do you trust it? Do you buy it? Is there any point in which we've heard Goody talk about a former player saying, listen, we love this guy, we expect him to come back and be even better, and then he trades him? That makes you go, all right, you fool me all the time. Why should I believe you now?
But looking back at that, you can tell when Goody speaks in hieroglyphics and when he doesn't. And if we're just comparing apples to apples, you could kind of tell, even though we took him at his word at the moment anyway, that Rashawn Gary may or may not be a Green Bay Packer very much longer. And he spoke in hieroglyphics. Well, we expect all of our players to be who they are and expect him to come. This was different. I mean, he was specifically talking about depth in the draft. Now, if in the second round at pick number 52, we draft an offensive lineman because, quote, it's the best player on the board, then I will take, let's just mark the tape. I will take back whatever I just said in regards to
that's
being
all,
able
that's
to
all I was looking for, was
mark
because I absolutely know that if the best available is a lineman and he thinks they're a good fit, I don't care how much he loves the starting, the front 5. Welcome to the team, draft pick.
He did say, though, specifically that the room that needs the more numbers in terms of adding players was the cornerback room, the CB room. So look for them to go there. All right, 2 more from Spoff, then we'll move on. Number 4, Gutekunst likes his offensive line depth better than any draft analysis in terms of there's a lot of old guys in the draft. And so the idea of the COVID-7 year, we just talked about the offensive line, but this had a little bit more to do with age too. Goody talked specifically about how a player and being a big guy and athletic and being able to do the job is a little bit different today in the NIL era, and specifically the 6-year and 7-year seniors that got that extra year from the COVID year. And so an old offensive lineman is different than a young offensive lineman. It'll just be interesting to see how that shakes out. And lastly, and Goody said this late in the presser, number 5 from Spoff on Packers.com of 5 things from Goody's presser yesterday. Drafting players who fit the culture and locker room is the first measure of success. He specifically said that late in the presser in how it's culture and then everything else. We got to get the right guy in the locker room. He needs to be a fit for the Green Bay Packers and a fit for the culture that we've built here, and the rest falls into place. We'll cover all of the rest of it extensively in the morning mind dump with Malat Meats at the top of the hour. But for now, actually feel good that the first press conference in the new media center at the Green Bay Packers Lambeau Field location was fairly legit from the GM. That's good.
Yeah, agreed.
Whoa, Brewers are legit.
Brewers.
Hello,
12-4.
offense.
Yeah. Everybody in the lineup got a hit except poor David Hamilton, at least from the starter's perspective. He, though, went 4 for 5 with 2 runs. Bryce Terang keeps his streak going of 20 games in a row that he's played in of getting on base. The pitching was interesting, but also not a negative per se. I mean, Kyle Harrison got into trouble, only 3 innings pitched, but did you see Trevor McGill come in the middle of the game? And I went, hey.
They're trying things.
I like that. That makes me think.
Can we also talk about the fact that the Brewers put up 12 runs yesterday and not one time did the ball leave the ballpark?
Not a single home run.
I mean, I'm all about the wood chipper, or the woodpecker mentality, and you peck away and you get the singles and you just keep doing it, right? That's what we say. That's what we like to see. I just think it is crazy that you scored 12 runs and not once in today's day and age of Major League Baseball, not once did the ball leave the ballpark. Crazy.
Jeff Levering said on the broadcast, grab another quarter and put it in the carousel because the Brewers are just going around and around. There was one point where I believe, Josh, there was a guy on first and second, and David Hamilton was up and chose to bunt for a single to load the bases.
Yeah.
That's woodpeckery.
It's exactly right. But hey, win, right? Continue to win. The Tigers are not a bad team. This was their second loss at home all season. You absolutely take that. And now you just hope that those bats can stay hot for today. I have to ask, are you worried at all about how the game ended? About the little rally of sorts that the Tigers put together? I know on their broadcast, they were trying to use that as motivation, saying, hey, even though those hits might not mean much in this game, it does get you primed and confident for how you can play tomorrow. I don't know how much I buy into that, but we'll see.
Well, what worries you more? Jake Woodford's 2 innings pitched at the end there with 4 hits and 3 runs, or Joey Ortiz being struck out by a utility player that was pitching?
Yeah, that's a great would you rather. Which of those two, which would you rather have not had? Woof.
Yeah.
Those were both really bad.
Really good games for Bryce Terang, 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs. We mentioned David Hamilton, 4 for 5 with 2 runs. He got thrown out at the plate, but also was in another pickle and actually made it to third. So really good base running by him, just a little bit late on the one at home. Garrett Mitchell and Gary Sanchez had a moment yesterday.
They sure did.
Rumbling, stumbling, bumbling. We'll hear that in the most electrifying sound come up. But if you missed it, it was back-to-back triples. Gary Sanchez led off the 8th with the triple, and Garrett Mitchell right behind him with the triple. And that was the inning where the most damage was done, and the Brewers really put it away. But that was not the only run scored. I mean, it was pretty even throughout the game of things that they were doing well, getting hits, getting runners on base, and actually choosing to bring those runners home, which has not necessarily been the case for this season.
And it was another big day for Bryce Terang, which there was a story that came out about Bryce Terang and him being a Brewer long-term, which we're going to get to in I Have Questions in the next segment.
Yeah, you may have questions from that article, and you may not. We'll break it down coming up at about 6:30. Packers check. Brewers got it. Badgers. You want the good news or the bad news?
I know both. And I don't. The bad news to me, I guess, it didn't matter. He was gone. But go ahead.
So the good news is, Amanda always says good news first.
Okay.
The good news is Noah Winter's back.
Yep.
And that's great for the Badgers because in the portal era, to get a guy like him back, much like UW Green Bay got Marcus Hall back, who actually sat at my table last night at the Phoenix Packers Steak Fry, which I'll share more about here as we go along. And Doug Gottlieb scheduled and confirmed to join us at 8 a.m. Let's pray. The bad news is Duke sucks, and they're awful, and I hate them. And they now have Jonathan Blackwell.
Okay, but to be fair, I mean, there was other rumors of him going to Illinois or staying in the Big Ten. Does it mean anything that he's going to Duke? I mean, at what point you're only going to see Duke if you're making a decent run in the tournament. And I mean, it's clearly, it felt to me like he's going to Duke because he's really trying to make sure he gives himself the best opportunity to go play in the NBA. And he thinks that that is where he has that best opportunity. The fact that he went to Duke wasn't my concern. I really kind of felt like, yeah, okay, you weren't going to be at Wisconsin anyway. You already decided that. So at least now I don't have to look at your jersey, and watch you play against the Badgers in conference play. The thing that got me was when he was talking about making the decision, and he said that, he wants to be able to excel even more, and there are opportunities to do that at Duke that he didn't get at Wisconsin. I mean, legitimately calling out Wisconsin and saying, no offense to those guys, but whenever you say no offense, there's a little bit of offense. And so it was that comment that made me more than anything go, is that a sign for other guys that are looking to get paid, but also looking at their future? Is that a blemish on the recruiting process for the Badgers?
We have to admit that there's really no comparison between Duke and Wisconsin. Wisconsin is very much an above mid-major feeder type program. Now, there might be a guy that didn't get a lot of playing time, Nick Boyd, on other teams that chose to come to Wisconsin and make the impact that he did. But there's other guys that didn't think they got enough playing time or were able to make the impact or didn't think this team was going to be able to get over the hump, i.e. losing in the first round.
Right.
And so, for a guy like Blackwell, Duke is a no-brainer. It also came along with the fattest NIL check. That's 100% for certain.
Of course. That was also part of it. The exact quote from him was, for me, I want to be more on the ball. I'm 6'4", so I'm naturally a point guard, and that's just the things I didn't do at Wisconsin. No knock to them. It's just how I want to elevate my game to go to the next level. Seemed to me like in his time there, maybe he wasn't the biggest fan of how much he was running it in comparison to Boyd. At least that's how I took it.
Do it once, shame on you. Do it twice, shame on me. Remember, it was a season ago that Jonathan Blackwell said he wasn't sure if he was coming back to Wisconsin.
Sure.
I don't know that he necessarily went in the portal. Memory is not clear on that, but I do know he was looking at his options to be drafted into the NBA and then chose to come back to Wisconsin. Same thing happens this year, and it's clear that after the season he had with Nick Boyd, and now, to your point, Josh, being able to be the guy that can lead the offense, it made sense to transfer to Duke, knowing they were going to pay him more. And the impact of an extended tournament outing is probably more. It just makes me angry that another guy from Wisconsin, whether he's from here or not, goes to Duke, i.e. Conkinipple.
Mm-hmm.
And they beat us in the national championship. I'll hate them forever. Moving on.
Fair. Well, then let's talk about a sports team we know you love.
Bucks.
You got to be honest, man. I think the Bucks really screwed the pooch this year.
So the biggest news is Doc Rivers continues to talk, and every time he does, there are more things that come to light that make me go, "Hey, Bucks organization,
Bingo.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
what were you doing? What are you doing? I'm so confused." So there was an article that came out. Mark J. Spears on Twitter was sharing it, and there was a conversation that took place essentially with Doc Rivers saying that this decision for him to retire, to step down, was 100% on him. It was 100% his decision. That him, and the way he said it is, we, meaning him, his agent, his teams, went to the Bucks front office, made them aware. The Bucks were aware well before the media, and then even the team. That was the biggest thing. He didn't even tell the team. Team had no idea. He said that because of his son, who's like a reporter in the NBA, the other players on the other team knew before the Bucks players did.
Oh, smack him in the mouth.
Oh, yeah. But you're saying that he wasn't part of the problem or the biggest part of the problem with this team. The more that Doc opens his mouth, the more he makes it obvious just how badly and how much control of that locker room he lost. The biggest thing, though, is I'm not even going to focus on that because he's gone, right? If he was still here, then you could go, what are we doing? But whether it was his decision, Bucks front office decision, he's gone. Let's move on, right? No. Now we still don't know in what capacity Doc's going to be doing something, if he is going to be doing something, and he's still getting paid. He's still going to get paid an 8-figure salary from the Bucks, even though he retired. What?
He's got naked pictures of somebody.
I don't want to hear any conversation about how much paying multiple coaches is costing the Bucks, because apparently to the Bucks that doesn't matter. It means nothing.
He's going to have some position in the front office. He doesn't know what it is. They haven't talked about that yet. But Doc admitted in this article that he never thought about retirement until just before the 25-26 season. And he talked to people about it. And so he had self-admittedly 1 foot out the door the entire year. Brutal.
Yeah. Yep.
But he's headed to the grandkids soccer game in Charlotte, which is awesome. Good for him. If you figure out how to quit a job and still get paid over $1 million, would you let us know? 414-677-1250.
Especially if you did a
Law
bad job.
Talking text line, right? And oh, by the way, I'm retiring. It was 100% my decision. Thank you for the paycheck. I'll show up in the front office at some point, although I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to take a year here just to do what I'm doing. But it's weird not thinking about basketball, but thank you for the paycheck.
Ridiculous.
All right. Anything else?
Anything else?
Yeah, last night was great. So first things first, Doug Gottlieb confirmed in person, eye to eye, eyeballs right here. DG, you going to be here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.?
I'm the captain now.
I'm in. He's in. So he'll be here at 8 a.m. I'll send him his little linky at like 7:45 just to make sure he's alive and well. The Green Bay community for UWGB athletics is alive and well. Last night, it was the Phoenix Packers steak fry at Lambeau Field in the atrium. I believe a number was something close to 1,000 people turned out for this event, and it showed they raised a record $423,000 last night for UW Green Bay athletics. A very unique moment for me, though, as Amanda and I were walking out of Lambeau Field, unannounced and unexpected, we walked out with Mark Murphy. And I looked at him and I was like, how weird is this for you to walk out this door and not go pull your car out of the basement parking lot that you developed for the players and the staff over there? And as you would expect, Mark Murphy was like, I'm moving on. This is good. Yeah, that's a little bit different. And he was awesome. But I asked him about his golf course, Josh, in Door County. And I was like, hey, how are we doing up there? Are we open yet? What's going on? He goes, nope, a lot of water. And I said, well, do you have memberships? Like, do you sell memberships for the golf course that you own up there? And he said, and I quote, well, kinda. We got the best deal in golf. It's a limited number, but you can pay $250 and golf as much as you want all season long. To which I was like, I don't know how far away this course is from where I live, but that is a hell of a deal and probably the best deal in golf. Pretty impressive.
Not bad. He's just doing it for fun.
I have a would you? Yeah, pretty much. And he wanted to save it. It was going to turn into something developmental-wise up there, and he didn't like that. He loves Door County, lives in that area or has a home in that area, and just didn't want to see that happen. So he's like, how about a check here? And we'll buy that, and we'll keep golf alive and well at this course in Door County. Pretty cool to walk out with him, though. Great guy. Such an impact.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. All right. Coming up, and I have questions. We mentioned it earlier. Bryce Terang and the Brewers and a contract extension or lack thereof. Are we surprised by this? And what should our expectation be at this point in Major League Baseball with a guy like Terang and the Milwaukee Brewers organization? We'll ask questions and also have answers along with yours on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. 414-677-1250. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Good morning.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
414-677-1250. That's the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Time for I Have Questions. And so many of you already have answers on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Good to see you up and alive with us on a happy Wednesday. Doug Gottlieb confirmed. Prayer works, people. Confirmed to join us at 8 a.m. So an article came out yesterday morning, just before 8:30, from Kurt Hogue in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, talking about the conversations that the Brewers have had and also have not had with Bryce Terang. And so, Josh, you read it, and you're like, I got questions.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest was just right off the bat, and it was not that long ago on this show, where I talked about the fact that I was assuming, right, that I know that the Brewers had put out offers to Terang. There were discussions being had with Terang, with Madej, with some of these guys that they were working behind the scenes, and we talked about if some of those windows had closed. But then for Kurt Hogue to ask Terang this, and for Terang to essentially say, no, I mean, I haven't been offered anything.
Not this past winter, no.
Correct. Was surprising to me. And it made me kind of take a step back. I mean, there's more to it. There's a lot of, answers that he gave that kind of after that were more politician vague-esque answers. I love Milwaukee. This is what I've known. If the money's right, blah, 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 all that stuff. But it was the fact that the Brewers didn't come out and make an offer to him that made me go, okay, how do I feel about that? Like, that was the question that I asked myself, was not the fact that he hasn't, or that he went to them, or that there's nothing on the table currently, but the fact that the Brewers didn't come to him to start the negotiation, to put an offer out there, to do something that at the very least let Terang know, hey, bud, we love you. We want you to stay here. We want you to be here for a long time. On one hand, it's kind of the Brewer way, right? Like, we just kind of know, like, this isn't happening. On the other hand, it's super frustrating that that's the Brewer way. And you thought that Bryce Terang might have been the guy that they did it for. It made me go back and think about, like, with Prince and some of these other guys. And at the very least, they still strung you along. It made you feel like, well, hey, until he's with another team, there's still a chance that he would re-sign. It's really early in our time with Bryce Terang for me to already be feeling like it's a closed door, and our time with him is limited.
What makes you feel like it's a closed door?
I mean, for one, just the fact that they haven't been having that conversation, and he's only proving that he's getting better, which means the amount that he's going to request is only going to go up, which it already probably is way past what the Brewers are willing to offer him. But it's okay. So essentially, are you saying that you read this and went, nah, everything's exactly how it should be, status quo?
Yeah, I did. Here's why. Brewers have broached an extension, but nothing crazy. It's right in the article. Terang and the Milwaukee Brewers, reading it from Chris Hogue's article in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, have had extension discussions in the past, he said, but, quote, nothing crazy. And Kurt says that shouldn't come at all as a surprise. The article goes on to say, was there anything brought up to you, Bryce Terang, from the Brewers this winter? No, Terang said. Nothing in terms of that. No. So he goes on to talk about what he feels Terang may get in an extension. He's comparing other players like Nico Horner's recent extension and said that we're probably looking at a 5-year deal at $90 to $100 million for Bryce Terang. I was told there would be no math, but I think that's about $20 million a year. The good news for the Brewers is that they currently control Bryce Terang through the 2029 season. Right now, he's on a 1-year, $4.15 million contract. It's a fully guaranteed arbitration deal, and so that's his 2026 salary. We have control of him through 2029. What expires other than Bryce Terang's control in 2029? Christian Yelich's long-term major contract. Yelly is on a 7-year, $188.5 million extension that ran from 2020 through 2029 that pays him roughly $27 million per year. I would like to think that Brewers fans are all on the same page, that it is highly unlikely that Christian Yelich will be a Milwaukee Brewer past 2029.
I agree.
Along with that, and whatever money we may or may not spend to keep a guy like Jacob Mizorowski, the funds are in the budget to be able to pay Bryce Terang. They just don't have a real reason as of right now specifically to talk through what that looks like. And that's what Bryce said in the article. If the number's right, which is business, and I've only been here in Milwaukee. So to me, I guess, Josh, it didn't come as a surprise. And I didn't necessarily have major questions that I took out of the article. If anything, it made me feel good that Bryce is thinking about it. And the Brewers have talked about it. And mathematically speaking, now none of us know what the new CBA looks like come the end of this year. And I wonder if that also, and we've talked about this before too.
That's playing a role in everything. Yeah.
In both sides. I wonder if some players like Bryce Terang, who are banger year already for him, starting second baseman for Team USA, I wonder if they go, yeah, we're just going to wait and see. We're doing really well. We'll see what the new CBA is. I don't have a reason necessarily right now to sign a long-term extension with the Milwaukee Brewers unless they put a deal in front of me that I can't refuse. And at the same token, it's a gamble. It's kind of like not having a contract extension in the NFL going into a contract year. You kind of make or break, and heaven forbid you have an injury. So for Bryce Terang, he may or may not have a reason. Now, according to Kurt Hoag's article, Matt Arnold did what Matt Arnold does when it comes to player contract discussions and said, no comment.
Right. Which, par for the course. Not to your point, not surprising. And listen, the fact that Terang said it would take the right amount, and the fact that he said all I've ever known is Milwaukee and these fans, and I don't think that any of that was a lie. I think if anything, Bryce was being very upfront. I'm just saying, I'm so used to. I guess I've spent a lot of time as a Brewers fan looking at how the Brewers handle these type of situations, and it seems like whenever they do take that gamble, they usually take it just at the right time before that window closes to get that long-term team-friendly deal. And I think we're past that on Bryce Terang. I mean, Kurt Hoag says that in his article. He says, let's be clear about this. The window to get Terang for a team-friendly deal is shut. I've never known Mark Antanasio to go out of his way to make non-team friendly deals. So, that's why I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay. I mean, I'm just wondering if this shows anything of the Brewers looking at this going, yeah, I mean, we'll put something out there, but we're well aware that it's going to be politely declined and we're planning for the future.
We've got him through 2029, and you and I, Josh, along with many guests over the last few months, have talked about how deep the Brewers prospect list is in the infield. And so it very well may be the case that a team-friendly deal is unreachable, that they don't believe they could put something in front of Bryce Terang that would make sense right now for the team and Bryce. And, we got a mitt full of players that we know we have control of for a long time that are very good in our minor league system, who we've talked with Lane Grindle as recently as yesterday saying, won't be terribly long until we see some of these guys in a Brewers uniform. Jesus Mate, probably not this year, but maybe he could play himself onto the team, Lane said. And so to your point, we may just have to saddle up and enjoy Bryce Terang while we got him.
And that's the question. Right? Is that okay? Do we trust the bag of prospects and the plan to go, were okay with that being the plan with Bryce Terang, or was Bryce Terang different? Was Bryce Terang supposed to be the guy, to your point, of especially if they clear Yelich from the books, that you'd want the Brewers to go all in on if they were going to go all in on one player? There's been a conversation now, if you were going to pay either Madej or Terang, who would you pay? Which one would you take? They're both gambles. One's proven himself, but still he's going to cost a lot more money. And honestly, we don't know that either of the players would take it, even if the money was there, right? Madej doesn't even know the Brewers. He's hasn't sniffed it yet. So I think, though, as much as you want to focus on this season, which we should be, and I think we are, especially with the Brewers, you're always looking ahead. You're always looking at what situations lie ahead of you in the future. And this is one of them.
Gary Sanchez and Garrett Mitchell had head-to-head triples in yesterday's game, and Garrett Mitchell ran the bases a full base ahead of Gary Sanchez in a back-to-back situation. That was rumbling, stumbling, bumbling. Gary Sanchez hits a triple to lead off the eighth. We'll play the audio for you. It's absolutely priceless. It's coming up next on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for
The most electrifying,
sound of the day
the most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Sanchez left center. On the run is Baez. It's over his head and off the wall, and Sanchez can run for a while. He's at second. He turns. He's trying for three, and the big boy is in with a slide. It's a triple for Sanchez. And a line drive down the right field line. That could be another triple. Sanchez scores with ease. Mitchell around second. Headed for third, and he is there with a slide. Back-to-back triples for the Brewers.
And those back-to-back triples from Sanchez and Mitchell, call courtesy of Jeff Levering and Brewers TV, is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress, connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. It was crazy as I'm trying to think about what's going to be the most electrifying sound of the day from a 12-run offensive onslaught, and triples were the most bases got on one hit. Crazy.
The only thing the Brewers didn't do in the 8th inning was hit a home run.
That's
they
right.
Didn't have one of those all game long for the record and still scored 12 runs. Sanchez and Garrett did a side-by-side comparison of how they ran the bases. JB in the 9-2-0, that side-by-side of what Mitchell and Sanchez looked at the end of the triple was hilarious. It looked as if Mitchell was a full base ahead is what Annie is saying here on the Nicolay Law talking text line.
He's not wrong. It was very funny to see.
Well, I think I'd be a lot slower than Sanchez, to be honest. But you should look up, in case you haven't heard it and weren't listening to the radio last night, Lane Grindle's call on Gary Sanchez's triple said something like, paraphrasing here, if you would have seen that in person, you'd have a story for the grandkids.
That's incredible.
414-677-1250 to the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Josh and I were talking about wrapping up Bryce Terang. Mm-hmm. There was a Kurt Hogue article in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel that came out and talked about how they're not going to sign him anytime soon. At least that's the impression that our guy Terang and his camp, there's a word we can't get rid of soon enough, don't seem to have a piece in front of them as of this time. The 414 says, all right, if they matched Nico Horner's deal, let's just think this through once. Woodruff will most likely be gone next season. That frees up $22 million. As we mentioned, Yelly's contract finishes up in 2 to 3 years. That frees up $27 million. And I'd like to think, this person says, that you could have room for both Contreras and Terang on like a 5-year deal, not to mention if there becomes a salary minimum that we have to stick to, which may be the case, then we have to start spending more money, Mark Antanasio. Sign them now to get better deals. Well, I don't know that we can get a better deal right now. That's what we talked about, right?
Right.
The Brewers' friendly deal has passed.
That's how they're making it seem. The 920 says signing Pratt before signing Terang is like drafting Jordan Love when you have Aaron Rodgers coming off of an MVP year.
So it's genius, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm like. That can be taken a lot of different ways. The 920. Yeah. So what are you saying? That this is the right time? That right now this season is Terang's prime? That he's not going to be coming and increasing his productivity and what he can bring to an MLB organization? I'm not sure about that. The 608 says, or you lock up Terang and trade a top prospect for a pitcher. Find this very interesting. And this had you and I asking a question off air during the break that maybe we bring up tomorrow or some of the time this week. But who out of that bag of prospects is off limits? And who would be a guy that you would be willing to trade away? We talk about how many prospects are in that bag of prospects. Who's off limits no matter what? They're not trading them.
I love that you and I look at that bag of prospects and list off names and go, oh, man, like there's a lot coming, right? And then poofty smoke, the 31st prospect makes his major league debut last Friday, and we're like, huh?
I know, exactly. Makes you think, what do we know?
One more Nicolay Law talk in text 414-677-1250. The 843 says, my favorite part was when Ortiz struck out to a position player last night. Not so electrifying.
No.
If you're him, now what? Like that's, buddy, of anybody on the team that can't strike out to a position player, Joey, it's got to be you. I don't care what you got to do.
Right.
You can't.
There's probably a time where, depending on who the player was that strikes out to a position player, it's laughed at, right? There's like a clip of Freddie Freeman once getting struck out by a position player. They're both laughing at each other. It's very funny. That's because Freddie Freeman can hit the crap off the ball and is going to be a Hall of Famer. Joey Ortiz is not in that position. So when Joey Ortiz strikes out to a position player, it's handled a lot differently.
I want to go back and watch that and see the pitcher's reaction. I wonder if they pan to the pitcher, because if I'm Joey Ortiz, I hope to God the camera doesn't follow me to the dugout.
Oh, for sure.
The 920 says, dump Yelich in his bad back. We need other players. Yeah. I completely agree.
He says,
I hate saying that.
He also says, keep Contreras, trade Turang for pitching. So he says you invest in Contreras, not Turang, and you trade Turang to get more pitching in there. Oh, boy. I don't know.
More players is the goal for the Brewers, and more players is going to happen for the Green Bay Packers. The NFL draft starts tomorrow in Pittsburgh, and yesterday, for almost a half an hour straight, we heard from Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst on his plan for the NFL draft, knowing they don't have a first-round pick for the first time since 2009. But he did say, I'm pretty happy with the guy we got in lieu of that pick. We'll share with you some of the highlights from Goody's presser yesterday, coming up in the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to go along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow. Band blowing.
Backing away, deep left center. Back is Perkins. And he caught it. He took a home run away from Jemai Jones. Didn't even need to leap. And Terang floats one into shallow left for a base hit. A run scores. Perkins to third. Terang delivers again. He's got 3 runs batted in on the night. Rengifo, shallow right. Vierling can't get there. It falls. Mitchell scores. And for all the Rockets, Luis Rengifo gets one to fall finally. And a shot to left, another hit for William. 10-1 Brewers. Line down the left field line. That's headed towards the corner. At least one will score. Terang is in. They'll hold Contreras. It's an RBI double for Bowers to right. Matos makes the catch. And the Brewers can book it. A 12-4 win over Detroit. They take the opener in the series. Big 7-run 8th inning today.
Book it. A 12-4 win for the Milwaukee Brewers. Hopefully we save some of those runs for today and tomorrow in Detroit. And, of course, the rest of the season. Not a home run, though. That's bonkers.
Maybe it's because they were saving the home runs for today.
We'll go with that.
There you go. Right?
Do that. It was a little windy yesterday in Detroit, too, my understanding. But the way that clip starts, by the way, with the robbage of said home run from the Tigers.
Yeah, for Perkins.
He was asked about this after the game, and Blake said, I don't want to sound cocky, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like the best home run robbery of all time, that was like a 2 or 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Good for you.
I mean, I will say Perkins has robbed a few home runs in his days.
He made that one look real easy, though.
Yeah, he did.
Like pop fly almost. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Hour 2. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
And the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. In case you missed it yesterday, we have your back covered. In the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump, we will break down the key points from Goody's presser yesterday at Lambeau Field. And we want to know what you heard, if indeed you saw the presser yesterday. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Maybe you're really happy. Maybe you're super frustrated. Now's the time to get it off your chest and out of your head. It's the Malott Meets Morning Mind Up.
I have voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee is kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Remember, Mom doesn't cook on Mother's Day. If she does in your house, she shouldn't. Damn it. So do something about it. Head to WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Tenderloins are the meat of the month, and they're bangers. 10% off for Mother's Day. Head there now, WisconsinMeatMarket.com, and experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats. Shout out, by the way, to Scott and Kelly and their family and Barry. The Malott family and the Perry family are huge. I mean, huge UW Green Bay athletic supporters in terms of just being there always. Donated all the steaks for the Phoenix Packers steak fry last night, and they were awarded this incredible award towards the end of the night, being the 6th man of the year.
Nice.
It was really, really cool to see. All right, let's jump into this. Goody talked yesterday for nearly 30 minutes straight and then was cut off, ironically, by the Packers PR staff and said, that's enough. We're good. You guys got everything you need.
I got a tea time. Come on now.
We got a few clips to share with you, but we want your feedback from what you hear now or heard yesterday. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line, the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump. How are we doing with what Goody shared leading into the NFL draft that starts tomorrow for every other NFL team but the Green Bay Packers, although they're still going to work, Goody and his staff. And that was one of the first things he was asked. Does this whole draft eval process change with no first-round pick? Are we pretty much doing the same process as we did before?
Yeah, it really hasn't been a ton different. Our process stays the same. I would say there's probably a little bit different allocation of time to some things, maybe how we chopped up our 30 visits. What pro days maybe that I went to was maybe a little different than it would have been in the past. But it hasn't been a whole lot different.
Well, that's good. I think that's essentially them playing their own mock draft for day one.
Mm-hmm.
And we know they're not going to move into the first round. Now, never say never.
Never say never.
And even Spoff himself, and we talked to our guy Andy Herman last week, and he did the math. He's like, guys, we'd have to give up our second, third, and fourth in order to even get up into the first round. And we know that Goody loves his picks, and that's just, let's be honest, not going to happen. So are we going to acquire more picks then based on how much you love picks? Well, I guess it depends on the player if we move.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, the more picks, that's the reason every GM league wants as many as you can, not only because of the players you could select, but the ability to move. And you never like giving them up. But if there's a player in front of you that you're going to acquire, it makes it a little bit easier, And so, yeah, I think, we sit with 8 right now. We're looking at 11 plus for next year. So whether, it's in this year's draft, next year's the ability to move around to acquire the type of players we want to acquire. You have to have those picks to do that.
He specifically went right at Josh.
Yeah.
3 different times in the presser that they only have 8 picks.
Right. And also multiple times did he bring up what they have for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Is he playing chess when we're looking at a checkerboard? Like, is this all just it almost seems to me like getting through this year's draft is a formality, and he is so zoned in on next year's draft right now.
Oh, no. He's saying they have 11 plus picks next year,
mm-hmm.
including additional compensatory picks that they just don't know where they're going to fall, i.e. Malik Willis.
Right.
I think he plans on using picks from next year, this year. He'll use those picks in terms of trades because he's got a mitt full next year. So, yeah, he's playing chess, but he is absolutely attacking this draft no different than he would attack next year. But he's only got 8 picks, and he has a bunch next year. So I think he's going to use next year's picks on this year's draft in order to make moves if the right player's in the right spot, or simply just to acquire more picks.
It could be.
So based on that, then, what if the right player is there? Are we going to go get him?
It's always hard watching good players come off the board, particularly ones, obviously, we get to know these guys very well. And when you see them get selected, it's tough. No matter where you're picking, if we end up waiting 51 picks before we pick, that'll be a long time. And hopefully I have the patience and the discipline to do that. But not unlike any other draft, we'll have some players that we'll talk about moving up to go get. I'm sure there'll be some scenarios to move back as well. So, but it's always hard to watch these players we've studied so thoroughly over the last, few months and year really to come off and not help the Green Bay Packers right now.
Patience, Iago. Patience.
Yeah, I did think that was funny though when he said about just if I have the patience, to wait. And you think about that, this is like the first time, right, that he in his tenure of getting picks isn't going to have a first round pick. I mean, he's traded his first pick away during the draft. He's moved back, but going into the draft, I think he mentioned that this is the first time that he's had to restrain himself from wanting to get that first round pick.
First time since 2009, the Packers haven't had a first round pick. Josh, who was the first round pick for the Packers in 2009?
A.J. Hawk.
A.J. Hawk, number 10 overall. It's difficult to watch those good players that they have spent a lot of time with come off the board. But when the right player is there, we're going to go get them, right?
Yeah, I do. I think we do. Again, we're sitting with 8 picks right now. I think, the compensatory formula, we won't know exactly, what we have for next year, but we feel pretty good about the amount of picks we're going to have next year. So I do feel like if the right player were there, that we would be able to go get him.
If the player's a quarterback, though, what then? Because we talked ad nauseum about how important the backup QB position is for the Green Bay Packers, specifically coming off of multiple injuries in Jordan Love, and we watched all that go down with Aaron Rodgers. Didn't have to with Favre. And now Malik Willis is gone. And so we've got a couple guys from last year, but Matt Schneidman actually pointed out that Goody says he wants to draft a QB every other year. Well, they didn't draft one last year. And so are they looking to add to that room this year?
Yeah, no, I think we're always looking to add to that room. I think we obviously picking up Desmond at the end of last year and then McCord right after the season ended. I think we did some things already, for this year. But at the same time, I think I've said this many times. I think it's the most important position of all professional sports, probably the hardest. And so we evaluate that position, every year regardless, very thoroughly. And there's some good players in this draft. And if we have an opportunity to add to that room, we will.
It was B.J. Raji in 2009, by the way. They said A.J. Hawk in the presser yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, no.
They were wrong even.
Well, no. You're right. It was B.J. Raji, but A.J. Hawk was the last time they had a pick in the top 10.
Correct.
Yeah. He was, because B.J. Raji was, I think, 12? A 12th
they
overall
drafted
pick?
Clay Matthews and B.J. Raji in the first round together, I believe.
I'd have to look that up.
Didn't they trade back up into the first? Nonetheless, QB maybe is the answer from Goody on whether they're going to add to that room or not. And let's be real. We watched it happen with Malik Willis 2 years ago, and it had nothing to do with the draft. They made a trade for him after training camp. Which
they could always do again. I just think it's interesting and a point worth discussing in regards to what as fans we would be satisfied with if they do get a QB, when they get that QB. Thinking about it a few different ways. One, I've gone on record. I've said, I don't want them to take a QB unless it's after the 5th round, right? We talked to Spoff about it yesterday. He said he wouldn't be surprised if one of those 5th round picks, because there are 2 of them, end up being for a backup QB. If it was before the 5th round, he would be surprised. I won't even want it to be in the 5th round. I'm going 6th or 7th. But I just feel like there's too many, as much as I agree that we need a backup QB, there are way bigger needs that we know for sure need to be filled first. And I'm just wondering in general if the idea of a backup QB being as big as we think it isn't just a little bit of us seeing what we had in Malik Willis. The odds, no matter what, of us getting a backup QB that's going to be a young, eventually sought after, gets paid lots of money quarterback is rare. That doesn't usually happen in that way. It's usually a team is drafting a quarterback and then having them sit maybe for a few years before they become that team's starting quarterback, or your backup QB is a veteran, someone that's been around the league a little bit, and now you're bringing them in case of emergency, and they bring their knowledge and history of the game. Very rarely is it, we're drafting this guy, but he's going to be really good for us in case we need him. But he's a backup, and he's just going to be a backup. I'm just saying, I feel like the Malik Willis experiment was the anomaly, not the standard. And so I feel like that can't become too big of a focus going into this draft.
Boy, do people have good memories about B.J. Raji in 9th overall and trading up for Clay Matthews and A.J. Hawk. That's impressive. We mentioned just one minimal thing about a specific pick that may or may not have been 100% accurate, and they're letting us know.
Yeah, okay.
So what do we think about this year's draft? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Feel free to call, by the way. You don't just have to text. You're allowed to call, but you can text if you so want. Get it off your chest and out of your head now if you need to. We'll do better in making sure that we know who the Packers drafted in 1987 in the third round.
Correct.
We'll get that during the break.
Yes, AJ Hawk, the last top 5 pick in 2006. You were correct, though. They did trade back up. They traded their second and 2 third-rounders to the Patriots to go back and get Clay Matthews. So they took B.J. Raji with the 9th pick in 09, and then Matthews with the 26th pick.
So it's interesting that back then was Ted Thompson, right? And Goody was in the system and a Ted Thompson protege. Yesterday in the presser, Goody brought up a quote from Ted Thompson that I wanted to get your feedback on. He said, Ted used to always say, let's know what we know and know what we don't know. I'm going to say that again. Let's know what we know and know what we don't know. That's the idea of preparation. Be 100% prepared in terms of everything that you don't know and everything that you already do know, so that if you have to use it, you're ready. But let's be real, you only really want to use like 20% of your preparation. And that's just take the first round as an example. They're 100% prepared for all of those guys in the first round that will never step foot in the Green Bay Packers facility. They spent a lot of time with those guys. And again, never say never. You just mentioned it. They traded up. Was it 2 seconds and a third or a second and 2/3? I don't want to get that wrong.
Yeah, let me tell you, it was a second round and 2 third-round picks
to get back up into the first round. And what's kind of interesting about that is that's what Andy Herman said last week. It would probably take the Packers to get back into the first round this year. Goody also talked specifically about more picks, and we mentioned that time and time and time again. There was a conversation later in the presser about John Schneider talking about being able to get more picks for Seattle because he only has a few, right? Well, Goody said he's probably saying those things because he wants more picks. And then he was going to go on to say, just like I do, but caught himself and went, I mean, obviously we would take more picks too. We only have 8. I fully expect the Green Bay Packers to trade 4 more picks in this draft. If that means they'll trade back, then maybe so. And that's one of my questions coming up in a Would You Rather Wednesday. Would you rather the Packers trade up in the second round or trade back in the second round, knowing that trading into the first round isn't likely? We'll get that and other questions on a Would You Rather Wednesday out here in a bit. But for now, based on the amount of information that he shared, and I know Josh and I have talked in the past about what Goody says is sometimes hieroglyphics when he was specifically talking about Rashawn Gary and expecting him to be back and a better player. And then a few moments later, traded to the Cowboys.
Yeah, which was not the first time. That was not, I mean, he's done that before. I also don't blame him for doing that. He has an obligation to speak to the media. He also has an obligation to do what's best for this team. So sometimes you have to hide your hand. You got to hide the cards that you have and bluff a little bit. I also think that maybe there's part of it to where he just doesn't know, right? If the deal doesn't present itself, maybe that's also the case. But I will say that after hearing all of this from Goody, I definitely went into draft. I'm going into draft night going, I got no clue. Goody's going to Goody. And I could come in here on Monday and go, okay, so he didn't make any moves, and I'm not surprised by that. Or I could say, he made a ton of moves, and I'm not surprised by that. Either way, Goody's going to Goody.
There's a few more nuggets from the presser I wanted to make sure we mentioned. There's 2. One, Jason Wilde asked if the Packers are going to use the 5th-year option on Luke Van Ness.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, well, we haven't made a decision. We don't have to make that decision until May 1st. The very next question, Bill Huber, like only Bill Huber can, all but said, what's the holdup? And Goody, for the first time, kind of looked at him and was like, because I haven't seen him yet. He just got here yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, got a little sassy with him. Yeah.
Well, but I like that out of Goody. We don't get that Brian Gutekunst very often. We got it in his end of season presser when he was not happy with the way that the Packers season ended. And we saw little hints of it yesterday. that makes me feel good. That means there's some tenacity in the Packers clubhouse, if you will, in regards to what needs to happen now.
Well, also shout out to Bill
now.
Huber for asking the question and following up.
He did even catch himself. He goes, well, I don't mean like, what's the holdup? Because he knew that was going to be a little and Goody heard it and he was like, back.
Yeah, I'm still proud of him for that.
Really cool other thing, maybe like 20-ish minutes into the presser. There was conversation about the expectation from the media on what first-round draft picks do in terms of impact for the team. And almost to the point where it was posed, if there were two players that had phenomenal careers with the Green Bay Packers, one was drafted in the 4th or 5th round, and the other was drafted in the 1st round, did the first rounder not achieve what he should have? Or did the 4th or 5th rounder achieve more than he should have? And Goody was very clear, that doesn't matter inside the building. And then somebody followed up and said, well, you're paying more money to one than the other. And he goes, well, yeah, but at the end of the day, if we have players making a positive impact on the Green Bay Packers, that's all that matters inside the building. And I think that's good for us to remember, specifically in the industry of noise, in that, we can analyze what we think first-round draft picks should or shouldn't do in year 1 or in year 4. Matthew Golden, Lucas Van Ness. At the end of the day, if the grade sheet at 1265 says positive impact, it also doesn't have their draft round right next to it. That only matters to us.
While that is true, I think that it's the difference between what Goody says and what we say. I feel like as fans, a lot of times we go, come on, man, it's a first rounder. How is this how we're utilizing them? How is this an okay production from your first round draft pick? I'm agreeing with you. I agree that that's how Goody looks at it and probably how he should. But as fans, we definitely hold on to that first round moniker if that's when they were drafted.
And should we? Maybe. And expectations or disappointments waiting to happen.
Yep,
clearly. You should expect a Would You Rather Wednesday. That's what we do here on Inside Wisconsin Sports on a Wednesday with your Would You Rather questions and ours. And we'll share those and yours when we get back. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Reminder, Wisconsin, Green Bay without a first-round pick this year. When was the last first-round pick? Last year. When was the last top 10 pick? 2009, we think. Who'd they draft? Don't know. Not sure. We'll talk about that a different day. They do have picks, though, in round 2 and round 3, and we'll get the analysis from both of those picks Friday night, starting at 6 with the Green Bay Football Draft Show, presented by Steam Fitters Local 601. It's featuring Charlie and Sparky, and it's here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht, inside Wisconsin Sports on a Would You Rather Wednesday. Josh, would you rather misspeak about a draft pick from almost 20 years ago or literally anything else in life?
Yeah, man, let me tell you, I'll probably go with anything else at this point.
There's a lot of really smart people out there.
Cut off your pinky.
Did you see that the 57th overall pick is going to get a lifetime supply of Heinz 57 ketchup?
I did not see that.
Mm-hmm. So would you rather, if you're going to get a lifetime supply and never be able to use the other one again?
Oh, okay.
Lifetime supply of ketchup or a lifetime supply of mustard?
Ketchup.
100%.
Yeah.
I can put I put ketchup on a lot of things. Like things that you normally wouldn't put ketchup on.
Yeah.
It's got ketchup. Chips. You ever had ketchup on chips?
No, gross.
Eggs?
Yes.
Pizza?
Gross.
Okay, that's probably where we should stop the list then, because this gets worse.
Oh my God.
I'm a big
are
ketchup
obsessed with ketchup.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Have you put ketchup on a steak?
Go ahead. With your next question.
Have you put ketchup on a...
Not recently. When I was a kid, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Not in my adult life, to my knowledge.
Okay. I was gonna say we got to talk to Malat Meats right now.
You're not putting
Trevor
ketchup on.
Is ruining your steaks.
I know better.
Okay, good. Whew. All right. Hey, would you rather attend the draft in Minnesota or attend the draft in Chicago?
Assuming that the draft in Chicago is at Soldier Field, I'm going to pick Minnesota because it's big, it's indoors, and I just frankly think it's not as volatile as downtown Chicago Bear Country.
Sure.
So, yeah, probably Minnesota. What about you?
I have to answer my own. Would you rather question? Yeah, I'd probably go Minnesota too, but I would hate both.
Cool stadium.
Fun. It's
US
fine.
Bank Stadium. It's US Bank Stadium.
Yeah, it is, and it's fine.
I'm nervous to say things off the cuff now because God, if I'm wrong.
Oh, I hate to break to you, you're wrong all the time.
I know.
People just aren't that quick to jump on us.
I'm glad. Would you rather trade up in the second round or trade out of the second round?
You know, it's funny. Even though I knew this one was coming, it still didn't give me enough time to answer. I would rather move up. I would rather move up in the second round, and I think specifically that's the reason for the case in this draft, because all I've heard is that the back end of the first round and the top of the second round kind of blend together with the best available and the talent of where those players fall. So that made me feel like, hey, you might be able to move up in the second and get a first round caliber player. I'd be all right with that. Let's go. What about you?
I would rather trade out.
Okay.
More picks. More picks.
Just give me more and more and more.
I think we will trade up later. It wouldn't surprise me if we trade down or out in the second. We're going to get more picks. Then we'll have more picks to trade up later.
Sure.
Including all the picks from next year.
Yeah. A lot of trading. Would you rather... I don't even know why this one came into my brain. Would you rather get to call the Packers' first pick of the draft, but it turns out to be the worst draft pick in years, or throw out the first ceremonial first pitch for a Brewers postseason game, but they lose that game?
The latter. Here's why. Remember Brian Braum and how that was supposed to be a major draft pick? Again, I'm going to preface this, buddy of mine, known him for years.
Mm-hmm.
Still a friend today.
Yep.
The audio is still used today from the set of ESPN when they were talking about Brian Braum. That will never go away. A first pitch at a Brewers playoff game, whether I scuff it in the dirt or throw it to the backstop, that won't be remembered if the Brewers lose.
But by you, it'll be remembered by you.
Fine. I don't care.
Oh my gosh, you got to throw out a first pitch in the postseason game?
Yeah. It was amazing.
The one they lost.
They lost. Yeah, but they won the series.
Okay.
There were some really awesome auction items at the Phoenix Packers steak fry last night. I was at the table where one was won, and then our friends, Jeff and Katie from Luxembourg, won the other one.
Okay.
And so if you had to choose which one you were going to get invited along on, would you rather go to the Dan Patrick Show, hang out in the man cave, meet the guys on a Meat Friday, or have a VIP behind-the-scenes amazing day, including dinner beforehand with Doug Gottlieb and Brian Anderson and the Milwaukee Brewers?
Am I allowed to ask which one Jeff and Katie won?
I mean, you sure?
Okay.
They won that one.
They won that one.
Yep.
Okay. That's the one I want.
That's the one you want. Well, bad news. That's the one me and Amanda chose. We were offered both, and we are going with Katie and Jeff on this amazing VIP experience with Brian Anderson and DG. I'll talk to him about it at the top of the hour when he is scheduled and confirmed to join us.
Yes.
And I already heard from him this morning.
That's very cool. Now, I will say my answer might have been different if Dan Patrick was joining us at the top of the 8 o'clock hour, but he's not. And so for that reason, that one was a little bit easier.
Got it.
Would you rather, assuming that the Packers have to take at least 2 players in this upcoming draft from this position, and only 2, would you rather have the Packers draft 2 cornerbacks or 2 offensive linemen?
You said CB, cornerback, correct?
Correct.
That.
Okay.
I liked Cootie's confidence in the offensive line yesterday.
I was interested in that, and I made this question specifically for you because you said the biggest hole, the biggest need, and the biggest piece that you think the Packers should go for is an offensive lineman. And so I went, okay, but if then you have to take 2 and it's going to hurt getting cornerbacks or vice versa, do you still feel the same way?
Yeah. I do think that they will add to the offensive lineman room. They will draft an offensive lineman, 100% chance, if not 2. And I was very impressed by how confident Goody was in not only the starting 5, but a number of the depth guys that we're going to get back. He also mentioned yesterday that Zach Tom had surgery after this year. And so whatever injury he was chasing last year should be, knock on barnwood, good.
Hopefully.
Hopefully for me.
Yeah.
Would you rather be Hamilton and be the only guy in the lineup without an RBI last night, or be Joey Ortiz and get struck out by a utility player?
Yeah. I'm still going to go. I would rather be Hamilton.
100%. He was 4 for 5. He scored 2 runs, had a great night at the plate. Is Joey going to get DFA'd today or tomorrow?
No. Listen, how many times have I brought that up in the last week? What's the leash on him? How long are we waiting? Lane Grindle telling me I think they're separate things. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. I wouldn't expect. Hey, would you rather go to the NFL draft every year or to the Final Four every year? Now, the Final Four and the draft both, it's like the party, right? So it's not like if you go to the Final Four, you're just there, you go inside, you see the games, you leave, right? It's the celebration, it's everything. If you go to the draft, you're getting to be in that city through the draft. It's not like you just show up as they do the first pick and leave by the end of the first round. You're taking it all in.
I wish I would have a Final Four experience to compare the draft experience to that I experienced last year, but I don't. And so I'm going to say the draft. What blew me away last year, and I had no idea and no expectations of this, the draft grounds in all of the different tents and all the different things you could see, wildly impressive and really fun. So I would pick the draft because I've been to a draft here And it was really, really great. And I think it's a fun extended weekend. The Final Four have never been.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I don't think it's going to be a good party, and I do enjoy a party.
Yeah.
But I've been to the draft, and it was a great time. What about you?
I would definitely go to the Final Four. I've been to a Final Four. I got to see my Wichita State Shockers there back in the day. I know plenty of people that go to every Final Four. That's like their thing, regardless of
no matter what,
if the Badgers are in it or not. I just feel like if you go to the draft, it's the same thing over and over, and it's about your team for a minute. You know, like it's and if you're going this year because you go to every draft, you're not even hearing them say anything about the Packers if you're just there for the first round. So I would probably go Final Four.
All right, one more, then we'll get to break and get to some of the ones that you guys are asking on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. 414-677-1250. Would you rather questions are welcome on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Josh, would you rather lose a Badger to Duke, Jonathan Blackwell, or lose a key Packer to the Bears?
Oh, lose a Badger to Duke. It's not even close. It's not.
Who do you
close.
hate more, the Bears or Duke?
The Bears.
I hate Duke way more.
See, I don't mind Duke. Like I'm not a fan, but I'm agnostic towards Duke. Like they're good. They're a blue blood. They're like any other blue blood. Do I want them to win? No, never. But I don't hate them. I don't attack their fans because they're obnoxious. Like it's just different. And maybe if like I, was a huge North Carolina fan, I'd feel different. But I don't. Like it's kind of like, you guys, they're like the Yankees. I don't like the Yankees. I'm not going after Yankee fans the way I would a Cub fan, for example.
Well, the Yankees didn't ruin my life in 2018, was it? Hold on. Not sure.
Yeah,
was
don't
it 18,
say that. You're
19, 17? We'll go to break.
What year did AJ Hawk play for the Badgers? Was that the year BJ Raji scored the winning bucket for Duke? I don't remember.
It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Look at me. Hands on my head again.
Yeah,
Dude,
here we go.
Grab a freeze frame.
Yeah, no need.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Mornings can all start to feel the same, so if you're looking for a fresh wake-up call, look no further than Wendy's Breakfast. Try a breakfast Baconator with fresh cracked eggs and crispy bacon, a grilled sausage or bacon breakfast burrito, or maybe even a honey buddy. And don't even think about sleeping on Wendy's seasoned potatoes. Doesn't matter what you go for, it's going to change your life, well, or at least freshen up your morning. If you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, it's got to be Wendy's.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on a Would You Rather Wednesday, and you guys are on it. The Nicolay Law talk and text line, 414-677-1250. We have to read some of your Would You Rather questions. These are amazing. Josh, I'm going to start at Jeff from Fox Point.
Okay.
Says, during a Brewer game, would you rather run the sausage race as one of the sausages or be Bernie and go down the slide for a Brewer home run?
Ooh. Go down the slide for a home run.
You ever been down the slide?
I have.
I have too. So I think I'd choose a sausage race because I haven't done that.
Yeah. For me, I think it kind of goes back to the with you throwing out the first pitch, like there's what has the bigger odds for me to become a viral moment in a negative light?
But wouldn't that be amazing? Nobody knows it's you.
Oh, but I would know. I would know.
I think that'd be great. And you wouldn't be able to keep your mouth shut either. You'd tell
That's true.
everybody.
I would have to tell everyone.
That was me. See that? Totally ate it. That was me.
Especially because I would have told everyone beforehand that I was doing it. And they would have been like, oh, which one are you? And then they would have seen me even before it happens. And then they would all know. And he just beefed it. Okay.
Would you rather watch Joey Ortiz hit or pitchers?
To be honest with you, I feel like I'd rather take the pitchers because when pitchers were up to bat, there was more strategy. They would lay down a bunt. They would sacrifice because you knew they weren't up there to really swing the bat. So I would take the pitchers.
Let us pray. Dear God. On Brandon Woodruff hitting bobblehead day, if there's a choice of a pinch hitter between Joey Ortiz and Brandon Woodruff, please make Joey Ortiz throw up so we have to choose Brandon Woodruff. Go Brewers. Amen.
Amen. There's no way that's going to happen.
Don't puke. I don't want them bad things, but would you rather have every day in spring suck for weather like this year or every day in fall suck?
Every day in fall. Fall in Wisconsin only lasts a week and a half anyway.
Fall's my favorite time of year. I would rather have spring. I hate spring with a passion. Passion. My favorite times of the year in Wisconsin, fall, winter, summer, spring. Spring sucks every year, no matter the weather.
Mm.
And I hunt.
But fall's so short. It's always so short. Like that great, crisp air with the sun shining on you where you can still wear like shorts, but a sweatshirt. That lasts for like a week. And then it's too cold. And then the snow comes, and then you're like, cool. That was awesome. Thanks for stopping by, fall.
But I'm a deer hunter. How do you do? And my season starts September 15th-ish and goes through the month of January. And so fall is my greatest time of year to be in a stand with no noise other than Highway 41, which you can never get rid of.
Yeah, that's true.
Couple more here quick.
Yeah, someone here says, from the 414 said, I was the Italian sausage for my 40th birthday. I was dead last. I went down the side for a family day. Both were fun times.
Yeah. I've been down the slide. It's a little scary that first time.
But more importantly, this person says, like, you celebrated your 40th birthday, and now you can tell everyone forever you came in dead last. Came in dead last in the sausage race.
Look at this person
Way to go.
Talking a bunch of crap. The 920. Would you rather get a new Brewers giveaway windbreaker and have it be 2 sizes too small, or have an older windbreaker that reeks to the point you have to throw it away? Whichever one you choose, it has to be worn for an entire game, and you can't remove it into the game until the last pitch.
So I think I have to go with the smelly one because I don't know that you're going to get a windbreaker that's 2 sizes too small on me.
But boy, do we want to try.
You could try, but I don't, even if I wanted to take it off, I don't know that I'd be able to before the end of the game.
I think so I'm a double X, and 2 sizes too small would be a large. It'd be hard to get me in a large as well, but it would be clear that they didn't have my size, and people would be like, oh, we get it, but he wanted to wear it. That's cute, whatever. Being the stinky guy, as you know from this story, is not an option.
Story
Can't
that will
have
not go away.
Nope, it won't. And that's okay. It's okay. I don't miss it, by the way. And
I think
the problem is it didn't stink. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, I threw away a quarter zip at the Brewers playoff game, and it's been the reason they lost ever since. I digress. It didn't stink while it was in my closet. It only started to have that like Under Armour-y smell to it when you wore it, because you built up heat on the inside, and that's when all the love started to pour out of it. So this wasn't like a nose sore in my wardrobe. It was just time.
You could have waited till the end of the game. You could have waited till the end of the game.
Your quarter zip back if you keep running your mouth.
Listen, I didn't bring it up. 920 did.
But you won't let it go.
I believe I'm covered under some statute here.
Yep, you are.
Either way, my thing is, like, there have been times with the free giveaways to where I'll put the free shirt on, right? I'll wear the shirt, even though it's 2 sizes too small. It's a t-shirt. I can stretch that for 4 quarters of a basketball game. I can't stretch a windbreaker. That material don't stretch. I don't know that I'm getting that thing on. I'm definitely not zipping it if it's a zipped quarter windbreaker.
Robin Yount jersey giveaway day, not my size. That was the day my family and I went down the slide. I was undercarriage sweating, if you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
In the old pit and chest area. I had to rock that jersey. I didn't have a choice because I wasn't rocking that either.
Nice.
We're going to rock it out with Doug Gottlieb. He's coming up next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Stay here. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't God that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Backing away, deep left center. Back is Perkins. And he caught it. He took a home run away from Jemai Jones. Didn't even need a leap. And Terang floats one into shallow left for a base hit. A run scores. Perkins to third. Terang delivers again. He's got 3 runs batted in on the night. Rengifo, shallow right. Vierling can't get there. It falls. Mitchell scores. And for all the Rockets, Luis Rengifo gets one to fall finally. And a shot to left. Another hit for William. 10-1 Brewers. Line down the left field line. That's headed towards the corner. At least one will score. Terang is in. They'll hold Contreras. It's an RBI double for Bowers to right. Matos makes the catch. And the Brewers can book it. A 12-4 win over Detroit. They take the opener in the series. Big 7-run 8th inning to Dayton.
A good dub for the Crew. 12-4. That's the final. Lots of hits, lots of runs, and not a single one over the wall. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Hour 3, Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
The Brewers are only a half of game out of last place in the Central. A half game.
Yep.
They're only 2 games out of first place. Everybody in the National League Central is above 500 by at least 3 games. So
They're
about
cooking.
that whole let's wait until the postseason thing, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. It's a tight race right now. I mean, they were tied for last before yesterday's win. It's crazy.
And like 2 days ago, in second place.
Right.
Stupid. Joining us now, as he does every Wednesday, with a little asterisk, just a little one.
Just one.
And only he can on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all, and live on YouTube and Twitter. If you want to join us there, the head coach of the University of Wisconsin Green Bay men's basketball team, Doug Gottlieb, coming off an absolutely amazing night for GB Athletics. DG, 423,000 reasons to be confident in Green Bay.
Yeah, and you gave all of it. I was really impressed. I had no idea that you were rolling with that kind of money. So
Thanks for letting me borrow your credit card.
I appreciate you, Trev. I really do.
I got you.
You know,
Katie,
I was thinking of you guys. So was that it was 2 Wednesdays ago, right? Where I was indisposed and I was in traveling and I couldn't make it. So
That was it.
I was traveling back that day, and I keep making the ill-fated decision because I have the highest level of status on American of going through Chicago. And Chicago's already as an airport kind of a mess. And then you factor in, I don't know if you guys know this, they're doing the runway construction. So, I mean, your taxi is literally 45 minutes, right? It's as long to taxi from gate to takeoff or landing to gate as it is to actually fly from O'Hare to GRB.
It's crazy.
But something kind of dawned on me, and last night made me think of it, which is how incredibly friendly Wisconsinites are. In that, I remember we're on the runway and we're just sitting there for like a half hour, and there's a lady behind me, and she was in the UP, and then she was in. I know her whole life story because she was telling it to this other gentleman who's like a younger guy, right? And then I didn't have. I just found some of my earbuds. I lose them all the time, so I didn't have headphones, and I'm just sitting there, and there's no internet on the plane, which. I mean, we're so spoiled. Like, you feel like you're in the dark age. There's no internet.
No internet or headphones?
Yeah.
Oh,
I believe the kids say
worst.
that's raw dogging, right? Isn't that raw dogging?
I'm not going to comment on that.
No, it's Trevor. I promise you, that's the phrase. It's a different phrase than the one that you're thinking of. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Okay.
Anyway,
I wasn't sure if we needed to dump that or not. That's
no,
all.
you don't. You don't. Look it up in the Urban Dictionary or ask.
I'm not looking that up. Nope.
Not on a work computer.
Okay, so, but the chatter was so loud, and I just realized that it's because we're flying to Wisconsin, and everybody, like, there's no strangers, everybody tells everybody their story and so friendly, whatever. Then you land, and Oklahoma and Wisconsin are the only two places I know that still exists, where you land and you go through the what it's called, you go
Put
through
your phone on Do Not Disturb.
I will. I'm mad because I was going to, and then I was like, oh, I got the perfect camera location. There we go. It's on Do Not Disturb. So you go through and you walk out, and there's people waiting for arrivals, right? Like in LA, I mean, forget about a car, like, dude, Uber wherever you're going. It's just, so the idea that people are so friendly, there's no quiet plane rides to Green Bay. And then there are people waiting for you when you land, which is so just rare, right, in society these days. And then you look around and, 23 months in, I went from not knowing a soul to knowing a majority of people there last night. And you just see how friendly and incredibly ingratiating people are. And, last night's that's the most money by a mile we've ever raised. And the vibes are great. But more than anything, it's a community. And that's a very special thing that I don't think in college athletics that is vanishing from many places.
I'm sorry. I need to get back. How did you survive that plane ride? Exactly.
It was only 45 minutes. Well, the first one, I can fall asleep pretty quick. So first one, I was cashed.
But don't you hear them talking about the safety? Like, you can just, it doesn't matter. You can, you sleep through all that.
I'm out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Josh, I fly a lot.
Okay. Okay.
The safety protocol.
Yeah. If you can't sleep as much as now, I also don't require that much sleep, so I can get up and do some work. And the first one had internet. The second one was like, it's the Chicago to Green Bay, which is like, okay, we're taking off. Okay, we're landing. That's what it feels like to me. So, like I said, the taxi was longer than the actual flight.
All right, so go ahead.
Go ahead, Trevor.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you win.
Last night, Jeff and Katie from Luxembourg.
Yeah, here we go.
Won the live auction item to have 4 people go with you to Milwaukee to have a VIP Brewers experience, meet Brian Anderson, and have a great day at the ballpark.
Okay.
Guess who they asked to go along?
You.
And Amanda. So what's the plan, Stan?
I don't know. I mean, we got to put our heads together and find a game, find a date, get some beer, and have a good time. My only request
dinner beforehand too. So where's that?
I apparently I have to pick a restaurant because I'll work on it. It's not that hard.
Okay. I just thought maybe you had a plan. No plan in place.
Who's paying for dinner?
Chicago. I have a better plan for the Cubs one. But again, we didn't promote last year. We did Brewers Cubs. It was awesome. My dear friend RJ Mellon, who runs Let Us Entertain You, he picked up the tab at RPM Steak. It was big time. So, I mean, maybe this is a shout out to anybody in Milwaukee, right? You want to treat your boy and some of my friends to a great dinner. We'll talk about it right here on Inside Wisconsin Sports.
I like it.
That's it. I mean, look,
okay,
that's actually a big thing we didn't talk about last night, which is there's this great opportunity here. No, this is a great opportunity here, Josh, for Green Bay to be what others aim to be and the original intent of NIL was, which is I want Marcus Hall on billboards. Okay. I want Preston Rudiger on billboards. I want them and the price point in comparison to Packer players is far lower. And by the way, Packer players are going to be here and then gone. Marcus Hall, Preston Rudiger, our guys are going to be here hopefully for the rest of their lives. So it's a real thing that we want real NIL. We want to support our student athletes. We want to promote our student athletes, and we want them to be part of the community, not just in the space of basketball, but in the professional space. And then that creates a bond, that creates a reputation, and that creates jobs for them when they get done. And then, the cycle continues. So it's a real thing.
Doug, I was just asking who was paying, because your boy Trevor over there, as far as if I'm keeping count correctly, he owes for one steak dinner with Jeff Levering and myself at Henry Flock Steakhouse.
Gotta pick a date.
He owes for another steak dinner with you and me for the breaking or lack thereof.
I still have the backup board here. This is the backup
board. So that's
still in the package.
Chair. You threw a freaking chair instead of breaking a clipboard. I didn't see that coming.
I just wanted to make sure this
I
wasn't
said that what a
three.
mistake. Why didn't we auction off the autographed stool last night?
Do it again. You can do it again.
Well, we had the golf tournament. We'll do it at the golf tournament.
There
you go. Nice. Good idea.
Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to know. I just wanted to make sure that this wasn't the third dinner that Trevor was going to be responsible for without paying off any. And also, when we're on the subject, how long is the limit on time before that bet needs to be paid?
It's a great question. I will tell you this. I will say this. Okay, so and Trevor, I'm going to tell this story with a lot of love. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
But I tell it with love because I'll be honest with you. On a daily basis, I do the same thing, right? Like yesterday, we went to Scott's Subs. You guys ever had Scott's Subs?
Yeah, big fan.
No,
big time. In case you're wondering, I'm the American, because I'm American with barbecue chips, but then you put the barbecue chips on and it's so good. Anyway, but I have coupons for Scott Subs. So Andy Brown, my assistant, who's my high school head coach, mentor, for years, this is going back to high school. He was like, "You're low budget, right? I'm a low budget dude, right? I do not have champagne taste on a beer budget. No, I have beer taste on a free beer budget." But Josh, I do have this experience in going out to dinner with Trevor, where he's like, "Hey, we're going to Margaritas. You want to join me and Amanda and the fam to have some Mexican?" I was like, "Sure." So we go there, and that's where the chip complaint came in, right? You guys remember that?
I was going to say we all remember that. Yeah.
What he didn't bring up was the fact that he paid in gift certificates. Okay, he did pay in gift certificates.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Now the tip was a healthy tip with actual real cash. Okay. I will commend him on that one. So he's not.
Why did I have to leave the tip?
Huh?
Why did I have to leave the tip?
That I should leave the tip?
No, you didn't have your freaking wallet. Who comes to dinner without their wallet?
I have tap to pay though. Like we have ability to pay.
It is 2026.
Overruled. And yeah, by the way, it wasn't that I showed up with no wallet. Like, hey, I got no wallet. I texted you, just heads up, I don't have my wallet.
No, you didn't. You said it when you walked in. Sure.
I did.
No.
Thought I texted you.
I was texting everybody else. 2026. The point is moot.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, the point is where we'll go to dinner. Okay, if Trevor says he's going to pay, it's going to be somewhere he's got gift certificates. Let's just be honest.
Okay, so you're already assuming. Well, I don't know. Then he's got
to Sizzler.
Yeah. Prime quarter. Here we come. All right.
God.
All right. I just needed to make sure because listen, the steak dinner with Jeff Levering and myself, that was a bet made from the 2025 season.
Still lives.
All we need is a date. You're going to get a gift card and like it here pretty quick. Look at the damn talking text line.
I'm just trying to figure out whose job it is.
Hold on. What's the Nicolay text line?
It says, DG, when you pick the restaurant, make sure they have big chips. I hate you. You're the worst.
Well, are they wrong? I feel like this is
he was like, garçon, my chips.
I mean, all that sounds super believable.
Buddy. Hey, can I just bring something up? I don't know if you guys are experiencing this.
Yeah,
my lack of give a frick over the NFL draft is at a peak level. Part of it is no first round pick for the pack. Part of it is like we had it here last year. It was so awesome. Now it's like I don't care about anybody else. right? I don't know. Does anybody else feeling that, or is that am I bitter that way? I don't know. But like, because it's not in Green Bay and because the Pack aren't picking the first round, like I honestly could not possibly care less.
I think there's a little bit of that. I think there's also a little bit of the FOMO of just, the draft's happening anyway. And so you want the Packers to be a part of it, even though you know that it makes the most sense and what the team has planned of not trading up into the first round and just keeping their picks or even trading down in the second round to get even more picks makes the most sense. But if you just want to participate and see all the pomp and circumstance that all the other teams get to enjoy on day one, you kind of miss that. You kind of miss that your team's not going to get to be a part of that. That part stinks, but it's not worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
No.
Yeah, Goody did get the juices flowing yesterday, though, with his 30-minute long presser talking about all the things that we could or could not look forward to in the draft. So that got me a little bit more excited about it. But to your point, DG, having it here last year and experiencing it that way, and now it's in Pittsburgh and all of the things that will happen there, it'll be fun to watch. But I don't know that I just don't dive deep into the draft ahead of time. I can't wait to react and respond next week based on what the Packers do. But for now, to try to guess and cornerback this and offensive line or defensive line that, or are we going to draft a backup quarterback? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's also a weird draft when you have like one first round draft pick quarterback, and even that guy, a lot of people aren't super sold on, right? So then you're literally arguing about people that you have no idea if they can play. I mean, that's actually my biggest frustration in the NFL draft is like you have no idea who can play. Sorry. Like, no, I watched him every snap. Do you have the all 22 footage? Do you watch every snap? Do you know? Like, well, I know it's 40 time. And like, no, you don't. So we do argue over guys who we have no idea their level of competency. And we just take these snippets of what we've been told on TV and radio and we've read online and make some, overarching comment. We may have seen a couple snaps or a guy in on a tackle, but that's only a portion of what, of what the sport actually has. Right. So it's a weird draft with the limited, the paucity of quality quarterbacks at the top.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Segment 2 with Doug Gottlieb is coming up next. And the conversation today, DG, is do you still have your trading card collection? Have you hung on to any of your cards? Do you have a card or two that you're real proud of? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Plus, Marcus Hall sat at my table last night. I do have one quick question for you on that. We'll be back in a little bit. Stay here. Doug Gottlieb will stick with Trevor and Josh and Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Look at that. I just got a coupon from Festival Foods via text. Got to go.
Okay.
6:00 Friday night, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, Charlie and Sparky, and the Green Bay Football Draft Show, presented by Steam Fitters Local 601. No first-round pick for the Pack, but they do have picks in rounds 2 and 3, and we'll get all of the analysis on Friday night starting at 6 with Charlie and Sparky on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht inside Wisconsin Sports. DG, Doug Gottlieb, the head coach of UW Green Bay men's basketball, here for segment 2. The conversation is, do you still have your card collection? When you were a kid, did you collect things like baseball cards or basketball cards, or maybe you collected Pokemon cards like so many people do today? Or was Magic the Gathering a thing when we were kids? I feel like it was, those Magic cards. Maybe they still have those. Doug's too old, doesn't remember that. But before we do that, we got to talk real quick basketball. The idea of the portal. So Marcus Hall sat at our table last night, and we all know Marcus is coming back. And of course, I was like, dude, so grateful you're coming back. But tell me what that was like. And I know, DG, that there's been some names that have been floated around, Jeremy Lorenz, Aaron Womack. I don't know if you can or can't comment on that, but just in general, how has portal season been?
I mean, it's still ongoing. It's been good. I mean, my approach is, one, it's the same approach that we have in everything. We want to be super prepared. Now, in order to do that, one, you got to work hard, but two, you got to get ahead of it. And then three, for me, it's easier to be detail oriented when you're not just kind of carpet bombing and just trying to find out who sticks, whatever. Like, we had targets, ranked targets, and what our team looks like if we get these targets. And obviously we have a budget, and you're trying to put all these things together through the budget. And so we haven't gotten all of them, but we've gotten most of our prime targets, and we have a little bit of space left. And, we're prioritizing, as you know, bringing Wisconsin kids home. That's a priority to us. And last night's a perfect example why. This is not to take a shot at anybody else in our league, but the reality is there isn't anybody else in our league that can roll out, forget about Lambeau Field, but have 1,000 people at a fundraiser that's simply essentially an award show for our student athletes. Like, the support in this community is amazing. And they want great basketball. They want great student athletes. But they also want people to become part of the community. And you're much more, it's like I told, there was a recruit in my office on Sunday. Okay. I can't tell you who it was because he hasn't committed here. I said, look, anywhere else you go, that office, the basketball office, is going to be high-fiving. And I'm guessing the athletic department, if it's a good one, because like Kayla got a star yesterday, like huge. I mean, a chance really special.
You said she turned down Tennessee and Wisconsin and came to Green Bay.
Yes. Both wanted visits scheduled. Both had money on the table. She turned them both down to go to Green Bay. Anyway, so the way it works here is like Kayla gets something like that, and we're all going crazy. The difference is, okay, that people outside of this building actually care, right? It actually resonates. And what I told Marcus, and this is true for other Wisconsin kids, is you go anywhere, okay, come back in a couple years, and they're like, hey, you were good. I remember you. But this is the only place you can come, and you come back to a Packer game in 3 or 4 years, and they say, Marcus Hall, Mr. Green Bay basketball, dude. I love watching you play. Thank you so much for staying and being part of this community. Right? And whether or not you're going to live full time in Wisconsin, you're always coming back. It's still home. Right? And the other thing that I know, because we announced yesterday, we hired Colin Schneider. Colin's, he went to Green Bay. He was at Dobo at Green Bay. His wife's from Green Bay. It's so easy to hire coaches because there's so many quality coaches that grew up loving Green Bay basketball, being around Green Bay basketball, and all they want is to get back to Green Bay. Like, it's crazy. This place is a magnet for quality people, and that's the sale. So it hasn't been terribly difficult because when we go out in the community now, everybody is so on board with what we're trying to do. I think you can see it when you watch the TV games. You can understand it. You can feel it. And the Wisconsin kids especially really want to come home and be a part of what we're trying to build. So what Marcus said, because Marcus wasn't ever in the portal. But that's the crazy part is if he shared it, it's like you're not in the portal and yet people are sliding into your DMs and making you offers.
That's exactly what he said in that terminology. I had so many finger quotes agents sliding into my DMs saying, hey, man, you going to get in the portal? Hey, you going to get in the portal? Like as if they're A, legit, and B, going to make him all of this money. So, no, he wasn't in the portal. A lot of money.
Like, listen, let quiet is kept, okay? So the number one factor that I want, that I value is I value experience, especially in a winning program. Okay, so he has that. Okay. And then are you on an upward or downward trajectory? Upward, right? He averaged the same number of points, but all the percentages were up and the turnovers were cut in half. And then he shoots over 40% from three. Not only shoot over 40% from three, but he was shooting below 30% from three a month and a half into the season. So he shot a crazy percentage once we kind of tweaked it and fixed it and figured out how to use everybody. It's not as much on him as it is on us. So Marcus had experience of a winning program, his zero off the court baggage. He's on an upward trajectory and he shot over 40% from three. Like I have no doubt and I actually asked him, I said, listen, if you want to leave, okay, you tell me the number that you want to make. Tell me the schools that you want to play for. And I will make that call and see what the role is if it's good for you. And he thought about it and we talked about it. And I said, but listen, I just want you to understand what you're leaving behind. Okay, what you're leaving behind is a legacy. No one in college sports has a legacy anymore. You don't have a legacy when you play somewhere 9 months. I don't care. Even if you go win a national championship, you don't, right? You're a mercenary and that's not who he is. And he thought about it. And then, he came in, we kind of negotiated. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's going to do very, very well and he deserves it because he's done everything right in the past 3 years. But he turned down. I mean, I think he definitely could have 2x'd it. And if he just wanted to go anywhere and just about the money, he could have 3x'd what he's going to get. And that's why he's a special and different person than many people. And, we have other guys that are in the portal that left because they thought they were going to get, 2-3x of what we could pay them. And some of them are like, Coach, can you help me out? Because it's a little bit less than I thought. Now, I'll help out. But we kind of told him what it would be.
And he's kind of staying, and he's happy that he is. Yeah. All right, trading cards, brother. Do you have any of your old trading cards?
So you missed. I was a big Garbage Pail Kid guy.
What?
Garbage Pail Kids. Sweaty Betty. Doug
buddy, I have no idea what this is.
What?
I know what Garbage Pail Kids is, but I did not get into Garbage Pail Kids.
I'm going to Google it.
Garbage? You don't know Garbage Pail Kids? Really?
No, never.
How old are you, Trev?
Garbage Pail Kid. I'm 43.
He's a lot younger than me, huh?
43.
Yeah, you might be too young. You might have just missed the Garbage Pail Kid era.
I've never seen these cards before in my life.
I've never heard of them.
They're hysterical. Now, they were stickers too, but nobody actually used the stickers. So I grew up in a little like subdivision that abutted a Barrio El Medina in Orange, California. Okay. And there was a little liquor store in the barrio and no one like the Mexican kids, they didn't buy Garbage Pail Kids. The white kids bought Garbage Pail Kids and Upper Deck. Yes, I have a first, maybe second series. I think it's a first or second series, a box of Upper Deck unopened. That's the Ken Griffey Jr. error card, potentially in the unopened boxes. It's at my mom's house. I know where it is. And then I have a box of Garbage Pail Kids, and I got them all by going to this little barrio liquor store. And the only reason that they had them and no one else did was because like the Hispanic kids, like they're not buying that stuff, not at all. And that's it. Gretchen. When was that? I can't tell.
This one's Barfin Barbara. What the hell am I looking at?
Garbage Pail
I can buy this card for $140. You kidding me? Jeez.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day, right?
I was a product of the 90s, and I was all Pokemon. It was Pokemon everywhere. Like that was my childhood.
Wait. What do you mean you're a product of the 90s?
I was born in 1990.
Yeah, that's not a product of the 90s.
Well, I'm saying like
That's
so
not a
if
product
you,
of the 90s. Yeah, like Josh, you're misusing that. You're a product
Okay.
of the 21st of the 2000s because you don't remember anything from the 90s.
I absolutely remember being 6 years old and Pokemon coming out and forcing my parents to take me to the baseball card shop
At
and
6
wait
years
in line.
old.
At
At
6
6
years,
years
you're damn
old,
right.
you
At
made
6 years
them
old,
take you.
yeah,
At 6 years
absolutely.
old, you made them take you to
Yes.
a shop.
Yes, in 96, 97, 98, literally
bull crap.
second. Okay. Well, I can't have you ask my mom because she's no longer with us. My dad probably wasn't the one standing in line. I don't know what to tell you, Doug, but that's what happened.
6 years old, your parents took orders from you?
Yes, and listen, that was everything. It wasn't, can we please watch this? Can I please do this? Can we please go for pizza tonight? It was, I will do whatever is necessary to go get a pack of Pokemon cards. Mom, please, 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 please. You don't understand. All the other kids at school have them. I don't have any yet, and I'm getting embarrassed.
But
I
at
go.
6,
It was
hold on,
everything.
at 6, aren't you? Is that kindergarten?
No, it was 4. I'm younger too, so it was 4 at the end of kindergarten, 5 to 6 in first grade, 6 to 7 in 5 to 6 in second grade, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10. But yeah, so it was all Pokemon. It was all Pokemon, and I still have all of my
started
original
kindergarten
cards.
at 4 years old.
At the end, yes, for the first however months, yeah, and then it was K5 was what you went, but I was the youngest in the class, and then 6 was first to second, and then
pre-K.
Yeah. They didn't have
pre-K. You did pre-K.
Yeah, I get it.
They didn't have pre-K. It was a
Do you
K-3
see the
school.
guys
I
still
don't understand
open-
why the hell. I'm just trying to get the story about DG
good.
about
Now,
Pokemon.
all of a sudden you're
again,
catching
God.
strays.
I'm just poking holes in it, you know.
Yeah.
Poking
Okay.
holes
So
in it.
anyway, when you were
Do
playing
you
with
like
your garbage
full-size
pail
chips by chance?
stickers,
Do you like full-size chips? Is
yeah,
that a thing?
I do,
Is that
and
okay?
I'd be very polite to the waitress when I need more. So when I was young, I was all about the Pokemon cards, and I still have all of the originals. During COVID, I went to like sell them because I was like, I don't know, they were all, and they were like, yeah, we'll give you like $500. I was like, this is crazy. That card alone online. And so then I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to keep them. Now my 9-year-old's super into Pokemon. I do not let him take my cards, but he's created his own binder, and I've kept those. So I still have those. Those aren't going anywhere. Baseball cards, I had them. I never kept them. The ones I held on to the most were the ones I got from a police officer on a horse. That was the top.
We used to flag down cops for the Brewers cards. We had that
All
in
the
Jefferson.
time.
Yeah, that was good. Did you guys have that where you grew up, DG? There was cards that the cops had, and you flagged down police officers.
No, police officers flagged him down, not the other way around.
Well, yeah. Where I'm from, it was Josh's deal. Again, here's my best baseball card story. Okay, I was 14 years old. Right, this is kind of like the height of trading cards in baseball. It's probably like 14 years old, maybe 13. So again, do the math. We're talking 1989, 1990. And the hottest name in baseball was Jim Abbott. One-handed pitcher, University of Michigan. Okay. And the cards to get, Josh, were the rookie rated cards. Right. I still have probably a million Greg Jeffries cards, it was never what he was supposed to be. I got tons of, he was the guy, and I just collected those Mets rookie rated cards. Anyway, so I used to go to Angel games occasionally by myself. My mom would drop me off like a couple hours for the game. I'd get my Beckett monthly. Okay. Beckett was,
I love that.
That was the magazine for trading card guys that would have the value. And then you'd have some cards and you try and get them signed by whoever, so you get there early. And I'd buy a $5 ticket in the family section, which was left field in Anaheim Stadium, and they let you come in for the autograph time, during BP, and then you were supposed to go back to your seat. I wouldn't go back to my seat. So they played the Brewers. This is a real story. So the week before, I'd gone to a game, and I was walking out, and it was like sparsely attended. Angels weren't particularly good. It's still in the malaise after '97, and Donnie Moore, rest in peace, gave up the home run and dashed a young man's hopes and dreams of going to a World Series games with Halos. Anyway, so I had noticed that it wasn't like security did like a clean sweep of the area, and I was like, I could sneak into the dugout. I could get into the locker room. So they're playing the Brewers. It's like a Tuesday night, and I go and hide behind like a column, And as the security guard comes up, or, maybe the old person ticket taker, whatever, comes up, like he goes on one side of the column, I go on the other. And so they don't see me. They think it's cleared. I walk down, hop over the railing, go into the visitors' dugout, which is the Brewers. And then underneath Anaheim Stadium there's like a tunnel. And I took the tunnel over to the Angels dugout, go into the Angels clubhouse, and I beeline it for Jim Abbott. And I go, Mr. Abbott, I had my
Perfect
pre-puberty.
impression.
I was a late puberty kid. Would you sign my Beckett monthly? And he's like, no. And I was like devastated, like crestfallen, like Jim Abbott just said no. He's like, no, I got a better picture for you. Goes in his locker, gets out a picture, signs it. And then the security guys are coming to like arrest me or whatever. He's like, hey guys, he's cool. He's with me. You guys can just escort him out. So I, to this day, at my mom's house, next time I'm home, I'll send you a picture. I have a autographed Jim Abbott picture that Jim Abbott gave me. And then the exit to the where the executives come in, where the players went out, was right like at home plate at the old Big A. And when I was a little kid getting autographs, after the game, you'd go and wait behind the velvet ropes and hope if you didn't get an autograph before the game, you get it after the game. So instead of being outside the velvet ropes, I'm getting escorted by security through the velvet ropes. And, you don't know any of these kids' names, but they're the same kids that show up for autographs every night. And I'm like a celebrity. They're like, dude, you're getting escorted out. So, yeah, I was nearly arrested, but came home with a Jim Abbott autographed photo, all because I was a card guy, Beckett Monthly, and I was trying to get him to sign it.
Beckett Monthly. Do you remember where you guys bought your cards? Mine was Snappy's. And Jason, if you're listening, I cannot for the life of me think of the other store in town. Do you guys remember the name of the stores you went to?
I just said it was
No, I know. I know. Was that the only one?
Yeah, because they were like, you didn't gouge you in prices. I didn't have to go to a card shop, and there's like no competition. I'd literally go down, and they were like full boxes of stuff.
Yeah,
like I said, like Chicano young boys in 1989 and 90 were not wasting their money on that stuff like we were.
There was a baseball card store in a strip mall in New Berlin, Wisconsin, very close to where we are here. And that was where I would stand outside with mom and dad and make them go. And I remember when that store closed 20 years later, I felt bad. I was like, this is like the end of an era. Like, this is where we used to go. This was everything. But it was just, the time had changed.
But Josh, if you were really product of the 90s, like I know you were actually kind of produced in the 90s, but if you're really product of the 90s, you would have experienced an arcade. Did you ever? Now, they have an arcade at the Green Bay airport, but not like the arcades. Like back in the day, the arcade was like the gathering place, at least in California. You'd ride your BMX and you'd go there. There'd be somebody who's like, you're way too old to be here. You put your quarter on top of the machine. That was like, I got next. And then you play your game until you lost, and then you would hang out until you could play another game.
Yeah, well, I was putting tokens on the machine when my parents took me to Chuck E. Cheese because I wasn't riding my bike by myself when I was 6. Okay.
All right. Well, hey, DG, happy Wednesday.
Hey.
Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. Happy New Year. Next time, by the way, many a text, and Josh and I actually talked about this before he came on. You don't have time to answer now, so save it. You need a theme song for when you join.
Like a walk-up song?
Think about it. Yep. Think about it. We'll pick one for you, and then we'll see if it's even close to the one you picked
submissions.
for yourself. And if you want to submit one, 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. All right, DG, happy Wednesday, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Happy Wednesday, boys.
Thanks, Doug.
Doug Gottlieb on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. That could be fun. What's Doug Gottlieb's walk-up song? I wonder what he's going to pick. He's out there with his music. Shocker, I know.
We also, and I know we got to get to break. When we come back for crossover, though, if he's still willing, our very own Steve Sparky Pfeiffer has an incredible baseball card story that we have to tell. You're not going to want to miss that.
Stay tuned. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Bring your cravings. Wendy's will bring the rewards. Download the Wendy's app today and start earning rewards. Wendy's rewards are fast, free, and full of flavor. Get 200 bonus reward points and a free 10-piece nugs just for signing up. Earn points on every order and trade them for fries, burgers, and more. Earn free eats faster than you can say fresh and never frozen. Loyalty has never tasted so good.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, and joining us now from 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. John Kuhn. Kuhn, did you collect baseball cards when you were a kid? We were just talking about all the different card collections we had. Do you still have them? What'd you do?
I don't know where my cards are. I'm curious about that. I had a rather robust football card collection. I had a couple basketball, a couple baseball cards, but football is the one that I hit hard as a kid. And I was big into trading them and collecting certain players and trying to get rookie cards. But I have no idea where they're at, guys. I have no idea. I went to college and I came back and some of my stuff was there and some was other. I kind of have a feeling that Grammy might have taken them to like a swap meet or a flea market and got herself a nice little
that's
Saturday
how you
night
win,
dinner
though.
out of
That's
them.
where you find collections like yours that are just poofy smoke gone.
Yep.
And they're gone. They're all gone.
It's a shame.
I think I have a box somewhere, Josh. And I know you mentioned you still have all your Pokemon cards, right?
Yep. Every single one from the original collection.
Do you know how much they're worth?
I mean, it goes up and down, but that's the craziest thing, right? Is like, I thought I have every single card. This has got to be worth something.
Oh, that's Josh's 401k right there, Trevor.
That's what I was hoping for too. And then it's like, oh no, this card's not graded. This one might be worth like a couple $100 if you pay to get it graded. I'm like, oh, what a letdown. Everyone else's
this
cards
is
are
my
worth
beach house in Fort Myers. What the heck?
Trust me, we'd be having a different conversation.
What pisses me off is people open these packs now and they're getting cards worth $2,000 or $100,000 or merchandise that's autographed.
Are they? I mean, we've talked about this in the past about how a lot of these social media people, these big time streamers, they are faking the card ripping. Like they are, and that's a big deal because you do that, that's fraud. You can get in a lot of trouble for that. Didn't Blake Martinez get in a little trouble for potentially doing that?
He did. I don't know that it was for the ripping of packs, but it was like for the trading and what he was doing and what he was saying they were worth and all that. He was a big Pokemon card collector. But now the ripping packs and counting stacks, that's become a big trend.
John, we got less than a minute. What'd you talk about in the past? Now what's in the future?
So Brewers get that easy win yesterday. Big time third win on this 6-game road trip. We'll get into that a little bit. And then Joey Ono at the plate. Obviously, Goody, his press conference. How much of that stuff are you really, really buying out of Brian Gutekunst yesterday?
We'll find out come draft day. That starts tomorrow and then Friday, Saturday. That's when the Packers have their picks. Up next, 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. Our thanks, as always, to all of you for participating today on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Remember, we're looking for a walk-up song for Doug Gottlieb, so text us 414-677-1250 or hit us up on Twitter at OnAirJosh, at Trevor Thomas IW. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, and we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll see you tomorrow.
Because we're not done yet.